What brings us here today is to celebrate the 10-year anniversary of the Pepper Hospice Home in Barrington.
Pepper had a job in Saudi Arabia, and we'd go over there, and we had 2 stops on the way home. One was Geneva, and the other one was London. And that's where I really got into hospice and learned all about it and that sort of thing, because that's where it started.
And at the time, there were no hospice homes in the state of Illinois, but they were scattered across the U.S. and really providing an outstanding service to those individuals who were in the last stages. But we were having a terrible time finding a location for the hospice home. Either the pieces were too expensive or they weren't accessible. So I had a meeting with Richard Pepper.
So we had 32 acres, so any site you want, you can have. And they put it where it is now. We only lost 3 trees. We built that. It's beautiful.
And then they wanted to be the lead donors, and they donated $3 million. So $3 million plus the property, a gift, and also the fact that you couldn't have a better construction company to manage a project like this.
It was in great need in our community, and they just took it and ran with it. And it's been very successful because they're staying with it and they're supporting it.
Because it is a not-for-profit, we need to raise funds to help people that cannot afford. And a lot of people, by the time they get to us, their insurance is all run out and they don't have any way to pay. So we really need to raise funds to help these people at the end of life. And not only do they take care of the patients and the patients' needs, but the families. They help even sometimes with burials, and then they continue with the families for a year with bereavement, and they just offer so many different services that I think everybody can benefit from it.
This is sort of like the end of life. So when you go there, and all of a sudden, this has love and blessings, and it's done quietly, and you're proud of it.
It's just so humane. And everybody has to face it at some time. Can't help but be inspired by the way everything's handled.
Each individual is a special person, and they know what it is, and they work with it, and it's beautiful.
Without the philanthropists, we would not be able to execute on so many of the programs that we have. So our philanthropists are paramount to everything that we do as it relates to our programs and services. They are appreciated. And when I think about the facilities that we are celebrating 10 years of, our Barrington Care Center, our Glenview facility, I really want to take this opportunity to thank Mr. and Mrs. Pepper and other philanthropists that contributed to provide care to our patients at these facilities and give them the experience that they need in the environment that they deserve.
You come here and you know that financially it's going to be all right because it's the last step. And it's so important to be raising money for the hospice, for JourneyCare, to continue the beautiful care. And it is subsidized through generosity.
For those programs that are not reimbursed by Medicare, of which there are a lot, that's what the foundation exists for, and also that nobody ever has to be turned away because they can't pay.
And hospice is by far the hardest thing to raise money for, because people don't want to talk about death and dying because they don't want to think about death and dying.
And that's when we say we're leading with the heart. That's the biggest and most pure example of philanthropy that I can think of. Today I'm especially honored to thank the Pepper family, Mr. and Mrs. Pepper, Linda Bowman, her husband Bob, and the rest of the family that have allowed us to grow in this beautiful setting that we have here today, but also allows us to care for people where they need us most and when they need us most. And what this facility, the Pepper Family Hospice Home, has allowed us to do is to meet them, our patients and families, where they're at. Mr. and Mrs. Pepper, it's because of you, your leadership, and your visionary support that allowed us to have this facility built. These inpatient centers that JourneyCare is so blessed to have enables a family to focus on what's important and to be there for each other. What our philanthropists provide our patients and families is hope.